Last year, U.S. defense contractors pulled in over $700 billion. Meanwhile, millions of Americans struggle to pay for housing, healthcare, and rising living costs. War isn't just chaos, it's a cash machine. Every missile fired, every troop deployed, every crisis abroad lines the pockets of a tiny, hidden elite. From Vietnam to Iraq, from Ukraine to the Middle East, the same companies and insiders quietly prosper, while ordinary citizens pay the price. The real question is this: who profits from war? And why does it never really end? This is The World Historian. We reveal the hidden forces and secret networks shaping the world you think you know. Nothing is as it seems. At first glance, war looks random and unpredictable. News reports talk about diplomacy. Politicians promise peace, and the world seems to react spontaneously. But history tells a different story. Major conflicts often coincide with massive profits for a select few. During the Vietnam War, defense contracting exploded, creating the modern military-industrial complex. Iraq and Afghanistan further strengthened this network, giving companies long-term, multi-billion-dollar contracts. Today, the same patterns appear again. Firms connected to Ukraine, the Middle East, and other hotspots see contract awards soar, stock prices spike, and executives profit, even as ordinary citizens struggle with everyday life. It's a recurring cycle. The same handful of companies repeatedly win the biggest deals, while the rest of the country bears the human and financial cost. This isn't a political argument or ideological claim, it's a structural truth. The system is engineered so that war pays, and those who control it benefit the most. War is not an accidental consequence of global tension. It is a predictable engine for profit, and at its core is the military-industrial complex. Major corporations such as Lockheed Martin, RTX, formerly Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, and General Dynamics do not sell products to everyday people. They sell directly to the U.S. government. And as global crises escalate, so do their contracts and their profits. Political influence amplifies this system. Research by the Costs of War Project from Brown University and the Quincy Institute shows defense firms spend hundreds of millions lobbying Washington every year. Many senior Pentagon officials eventually take roles in these same companies, and executives move into government positions. This revolving door ensures policies, budgets, and priorities favor those who produce weapons. Instability is profitable, and the system rewards it. Consider this: military contractors aren't competing to serve the public. They're competing to sell weapons, and the outcome they optimize for isn't customer satisfaction. It's conflict. The more instability, the more demand for their products. This is systemic, structural, and deliberate, not coincidental. The scale of this war profit machine is staggering. From 2020 to 2024, the Pentagon awarded $2.4 trillion in contracts to private firms, roughly 54% of discretionary military spending over those years. Just 5 companies received $771 billion of those contracts. Lockheed Martin at $313 billion, RTX at $145 billion, Boeing at $115 billion, General Dynamics at $116 billion, and Northrop Grumman at $81 billion. To put that in perspective, this is more than twice what the U.S. spent on diplomacy, development, and humanitarian aid combined. For fiscal year 2025, the Department of Defense requested around $850 billion in discretionary funding. A significant portion flows into operations, maintenance, procurement, and research and development. This isn't abstract. Lockheed Martin recently raised profit forecasts for 2024 and 2025, citing surging demand for fighter jets and missile systems amid global instability. RTX has seen similar gains from missile defense and cybersecurity contracts. More than half of the Pentagon's budget flows directly to private firms. This isn't marginal. It's the backbone of modern military spending. The more unstable the world becomes, the more revenue flows upward. Conflict guarantees profit. The uncomfortable truth is this: war is sold as protection, security, and patriotism. Politicians claim that defense spending keeps the nation safe. Companies argue that they create jobs and innovation. That part is true. Over 2 million Americans work in the defense sector, and in some regions, these jobs are critical for the local economy. But here's the paradox. The system isn't primarily about human security. It is about profit. When financial gain outweighs peace and stability, incentives distort. Instability becomes desirable. Peace threatens profits. Conflict ensures them. And it raises a chilling question. Are we being protected or profitably managed? Today, the system isn't hidden. It's playing out in plain sight. Global defense budgets are soaring to record highs, yet ordinary people struggle to afford rent, healthcare, and education. Families work multiple jobs just to keep food on the table, while billions flow toward weapons programs they will never benefit from. Imagine this: a city in the U.S. where schools are crumbling, roads are full of potholes, and hospitals operate at capacity. At the same time, corporations are receiving billions in contracts for fighter jets, missiles, and military drones. Every headline about a foreign conflict or rising international tension isn't just news. It's a profit signal for a tiny elite. The contrast is stark. Taxpayers fund the weapons, executives collect the profits, and ordinary citizens pay the human and economic cost. Conflict isn't a tragedy for them. It's a financial opportunity. Stability, on the other hand, is the real threat to this system. And it's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. Look around. Communities destabilized, public programs underfunded, social safety nets eroded. War has become less about national security and more about sustaining a predictable, profitable engine. Every missile, every overseas base, every military contract reinforces a loop that benefits the few, while the majority bears the cost. The world sees war as geopolitical chaos, but behind the scenes, it's a machine, and the mirror it holds up to society is uncomfortable. While defense executives celebrate their quarterly earnings, ordinary citizens are left wondering why prosperity feels so elusive. Fear and instability aren't accidents. They are incentives embedded into a network of power, money, and policy. Money is not just cash. It's power, influence, and control. Control isn't wielded only by governments. It lives in corporations, contracts, lobbyists, and networks. Power is hidden. Decisions are opaque. But understanding the system gives a glimpse of agency. The next time you read about a major conflict or a surge in military spending, ask yourself, who gains and who pays the price? Collapse isn't chaos, it's choreography. And until incentives change, the machine will keep turning. If this opened your eyes to the world, hit subscribe, and I'll help you see the world through time's eyes.